everyone, my name's Aaliyah and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how femininity is portrayed in media. I spoke about this in my princess ranking video, but I kind of just wanted to expand and have more of a discussion. This will be a casual video, more like a rant/discussion like I said. And I just want to talk about some personal experiences, some of the ways I think 2010 style feminism affected the portrayal of women in media, as well as some strong female characters that I think are done really well. Alrighty, just before we get started, I wanted to put a little disclaimer. These are just my opinions and I'm not an expert on this topic. I have been doing some research, but through that research, I realized that there's just a lot to learn and a lot to discuss. So yeah, feel free to disagree with me and talk about your own experience in the comments, but just be nice, please. Funnily enough, the first time that I felt really angry about this issue was when I was at my grandma's house and the TV was playing the rebooted version of Strawberry Shortcake. Now, I don't exactly remember what the episode was about, but what really stood out to me was the character of Lemon Meringue. Now, in past iterations, Lemon Meringue had been this girly kind of fashion designer character, and in the new one, she's kind of more of a tomboy engineer, so really the opposite. Now, I think that's totally fine. Obviously, we need things to show that little girls can pursue whatever they want to. What bothered me was the fact that she had to be a tomboy in order to be an engineer, as well as the fact that in the episode, she would just go on and on about how much she hated pink and how much she hated girly things. That confused me because why couldn't you have just changed her to be an engineer but kept her love for dresses and clothes and have a little bit of both? Honestly, even just having her not hate pink would have been all right with me because I feel like it just sends a terrible message. It's not empowering to tell little girls that you have to be a certain way in order to pursue more typically masculine jobs or activities. That just reinforces gender stereotypes and keeps little girls who might be more feminine away from things like engineering or science or sports. I feel like there is such a confusion about what is empowering to young girls. We shouldn't be encouraging gendered interests in an attempt to make things more inclusive. I would love to see characters that interests aren't really dictated by the way that they present themselves. I feel like that would be a far more wonderful message and it would genuinely dismantle stereotypes rather than enforcing them under the guise of inclusivity and making it seem like girls can be strong and be an engineer, but only if you're a tomboy. As I've been thinking about this topic, I realized that I've totally been thinking about this since I was super little. I remember one experience with my best friend. I'm not sure how old we were, but like pretty young. And we were playing at the park and she asked me, "Are you a girly girl or a tomboy?" And I thought about it and I was like, well, I love to wear princess dresses. I'm obsessed with pink, but I'm also obsessed with Avengers and I love watching like more little boy cartoons, I guess. So I told her, well, I think I'm both because I love to wear girly things, but I think my interests are more like tomboy, I suppose. And she's like, no, like you can't be both, you can't. And I remember getting so angry because this is even, like the fact that I remember this, we were so little, like is a testament to how angry that made me. And I just was like, why can't I be both? Why can't I have both interests? And years later, she was telling me that before we had played at the park together, she was at a birthday party. And at that party, two little girls asked her the same question. And she responded in the same way that I did. And they got angry with her, just like she got angry with me. So that story is just an example of how stereotypes become instilled in every generation. And characters like Lemon Meringue create more division, reinforcing the mindset that those little girls had instead of making an environment where interests aren't gendered. Now, I mentioned this a little bit in my last video, but one of my least favorite things is when brands targeted towards little girls take on that message of you can be brave and strong and do anything, which obviously is a fantastic message, but kind of strip away the femininity the brand once had because they believe it no longer aligns with that message. Just creates a new message that femininity can't be strong. And obviously, I don't think that those kinds of brands should strictly be pink and sparkly because that's not representative of all little girls. But I think variety is important, and I think that either extreme is pretty negative. I remember I was always obsessed with the concept of like a princess night when I was little because I feel like it represented both sides of me. I wanted to be a princess and I wanted to be pink and wear my sparkly dresses, but I also wanted to feel strong and powerful and brave. So having more characters like that would be really interesting to see. I just really don't like things that feed into the way those girls were made to think when I was little and just continues to instill that belief that you can only be one thing. I also think that kind of media creates the I'm not like other girls mindset because girls don't want to be viewed as weak. And if femininity is portrayed as something that cannot be strong in the media that they watch, or that's what other people are telling them, then they're not going to want to be like other girls. They're not going to want to be interested in pink or princesses because that shows everyone else that they're weak. Girls should present themselves in whatever way they want to because they want to, not because they feel like they have something to prove to society. I've noticed this a little bit in the Disney Princess brand. A lot of their new merchandise is very minimalist and plain. They've even changed the logo to this very strange, just sans serif font rather than the frilly decorative one that we've seen in the past. That being said, there are some changes I really like. I do like their new designs, and I love that in the posters they seem like they're friends with each other and are not just like standing in the pink void. But I would love to see some sparkles and like maybe a castle or something like that. I don't know, it just feels very stripped down, and they have started to lead more into that message of you can be strong and anyone can be a princess. So I feel like there's a little bit of a correlation, and I don't know how I feel about that. Now, I did just want to speak a little bit about the brand of kind of girl boss feminism that we saw a lot in the 2010s, because I think it affected the way media portrays a woman a lot. Now, I'm not going to say it was all bad. Obviously, there was an issue in the other direction with having very male-centered female characters, but I believe there was an overcorrection that ultimately was not very effective. I think one of 2010's feminism's biggest faults is that it tended to be really shallow. We saw a depoliticized version of feminism that I think created the strong female character. There was less of a focus on the system and more of a focus on the self. You're in control. You have to be a girl boss. Lots of self-help book speak. It was very much individual empowerment, and I think in an attempt to make feminism more accessible, the whole movement was made very surface level. Now, this resulted in the representation that was created in response to that movement also feeling very shallow. There was this trend for female characters, especially in action movies, where they would kind of just take on the personalities and traits of male action figures that we've seen in past movies, who I think also lack a lot of depth. And that is just so weird to me because one, it makes them shallow, and two, we're saying the same thing. We're saying that the only way that you can be empowered and the only way that you can be strong is when you become more masculine. These characters lacked personalities, and it felt like you couldn't relate to them because they were just on this like pedestal of like strong woman. They were very above it all. And that's not how we are in real life. We have feelings, and there's so much complexity in being a woman, and I think that those kind of characters really just dumbed it down. That is why I absolutely love Vi from Arcane. Season 1 specifically. I have a lot of issues with season 2, but she could have so easily been one of those stereotypically strong female characters because she kind of presents in a more masculine way. She could have been tough and had no emotion and just been above it all, like I said. Instead, she feels, she makes mistakes. She comes across as an actual human being, and you can relate to her. That's all I want from female characters. I want them to have a real sense of humanity. It doesn't feel like Arcane is trying to prove a point or get kind of brownie points for her character. She's strong because her story is deep and impactful, and we see everything she's gone through and how she's still able to be a good person after all of that. I love all the girls in Arcane because they're so different from each other, and they all feel empowering, they feel strong, and they feel so human. There's subtlety in the way that all of their stories are told. It's part of the reason why I'm not very fond of the Disney princess live action movies, because everything about the way that they try to make these characters more strong feels very ham-fisted. You'll add in a throwaway line or a throwaway song, and it feels like it's only there to be like, hey, now you're allowed to like this story. Now you can enjoy it guilt-free because you're not participating in something that is unfeminist. And it doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like it's there out of a real desire to improve upon the original story. It's just there for marketing, and so Disney can very lazily dismiss the criticisms that have been placed on the princess movies before. Some other female characters that I love that feel very powerful in a way that's complex are Risa Hawkeye from Fullmetal Alchemist and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I feel like those are two almost near perfect stories, and I just adore them. But yeah, I think that having characters that lack depth and are kind of just there as a statement, it's just the same issue that we had before, because female characters lacked depth outside of their male counterpart or whatever. It's the same issue on the other end of the spectrum. But that was my little rant. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that made sense. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye!